Today we're going to learn how to customize text and create illustrations and images with customized text. So we're going to do kind of a fun project today. We are going to pick either an animal or an object or a person or a place, pretty much any word really, as long as it's appropriate. And we're going to turn that word into a really interesting illustration. So I have decided to do the word or the animal cheetah. So basically, I'm going to create the word cheetah and make it look like it is an actual cheetah. So I will show you what my finished product is going to look like, and then I'm going to show you how we get there. So this is what I created. So as you can see, it spells out the word cheetah, so Cheetah, and it looks like a cheetah that's running. So we're going to create something like this. You can pick an animal, like I said, a person, an object, basically anything, and then you're going to put the title or the name of that object or animal or person and create a visual for it. Usually the easiest is animals. However, there's a lot of animal ones that are already on the internet that are done, and you cannot copy those ones or steal them. So if you were to do an animal that's already on the internet that's done, like I know there's a lot done for the animal pig, you would have to pick completely different text, and you would have to design it dramatically different than any of the ones that are already on the internet. So just be careful when you're picking your object or animal. So I'm going to show you how I basically got here. So the first thing you're going to do is open up a new document. Same thing we always do, file, new, and then do letter size, which is 8.5 by 11. Make sure it's inches, guys, not points or pixels. So you want 8.5 by 11 inches. And then I always work in landscape orientation. So then you will create a new one and you will have a document that is the size of a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. And if you aren't sure that you did the right size, push Control R and you'll bring up your rulers, and you can see that I have 11 inches by 8.5. If yours is not reading inches, just right click on it and you can change it to inches. So to start, how I start these, and usually the easiest way to start this is first, obviously, decide what animal, person, place, or object you want to do, and then actually look up a picture of it. So I looked up silhouettes of cheetahs. So this is what I did. I actually Googled cheetah silhouette. Silhouettes are nice because they're black and white, and I'm going to show you why that's an advantage. So then I kind of scanned through these, and I found a cheetah silhouette that I really liked. Now keeping in mind the word cheetah. So cheetah starts with a C, so I kind of liked how this back part of the cheetah kind of has this natural curve of a C, whereas some of these other ones, like obviously this one would be really hard to do the word cheetah in it. Same with this one. This one could be done, but I really didn't like the head on this one. So I found a nice cheetah silhouette, very simple, no watermarks on it. And you'll see why that's really important. So what I did is I clicked on this, right-clicked, and did copy image. And then in Illustrator, do Control V to paste it. Once you've pasted the image, you simply have it selected, go up to Object, Image Trace, Make and Expand. And so what this is going to do is it's going to create an outline of your image. Then you'll notice there's this white box around your image. Go ahead and delete that, top and bottom. So now I have this outline of a cheetah, and it's already drawn up for me. This is why it's best to find like a silhouette or a black and white image. So then what I want to do is I'm going to change the fill to nothing, and I'm going to change the outline to black. That way I have the basic outline. The next step, once you have your outline of your image, this is going to be your guide, kind of like your cookie cutter. Then you're going to take your text tool and you're going to type the word. You can do all caps, you can do all lower cases, you can do a mixture of both. I usually like to do all caps just because the letters are a little bit cleaner and neater. So once you have typed your word, go up and pick your font. Now, a few recommendations for your fonts. I'm going to make mine bigger so you can see it. I would obviously not pick some of these weirder ones because how can we read that? But another thing, you don't want something that is super thin. Like this font here is really thin. You're not going to be able to fill in that cheetah silhouette. So you need something that is blocky and thick. You don't want, you could use something like this with these little points on them. They're called serifs. However, it's going to be really difficult and it's going to start looking a little weird. So try and avoid they're called feet or serifs, those little points. You want to go with something a little more blocky, a little more rounded sometimes, depending on what animal or something you're doing. You don't want to do crazy fancy fonts like this. It's going to become a nightmare. Even slightly decorative fonts like this is going to be really hard. Things like this is like a really awesome font and would look really cool in Cheetah. However, you're going to be editing the font, so it's not going to look like this when you're done, and it's just going to be really difficult. Same with this. So my biggest advice I can give to you for this, you're finding your font, is keep it simple. So I'm going to pick, what's up here? This one here. It's got some rounded edges. It's got a nice curve. Everything's easy to read. It's nice and thick block letters so I can fill it in. So once you've picked your font, you're going to simply select it, right click, and go to create outlines. Now if you remember, this creates it to where you can edit the text. The next thing you're going to have to do is right click again and go to ungroup. And then this allows you to move each letter individually. Now I'm going to enlarge my letters a little bit. Then I'm going to very roughly place where I want each letter. Okay, this kind of gives me an idea of how it's going to flow. Now I'm going to show you how to do one or two letters and then I'm going to skip ahead. So once you have your letter, your first one, we're going to work with one letter at a time. You're going to zoom in and you're going to use the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, or shortcut is A, and you're going to click on your points and you're just going to simply start to adjust your letters to where they kind of fit into your silhouette. So you got this nice outline and you're just going to sit here. If you move your text on accident instead of the line, just push Control Z and it'll go back to where it's at. You have to click right on the point. Sometimes it can be a little stubborn. And you can go straight up to the line, it's fine. Bring it down. The letters can be distorted. They don't have to be perfect. You're more worried about filling the space. You can take the handles and kind of bend them down a little bit. Move them up. And basically you're just going to get it as close to the edge of your outline as possible. For this next letter, I'm going to use my selection tool, the black arrow, and I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I'm actually going to make this one a little bit smaller. Your letters don't have to all be the same size. You can actually stretch them and everything if you want. Using back to my direct selection tool, the white arrow, I'm going to put this guy here. Now if you'll notice, the letters overlap. We don't really want that. So I'm going to use the pen tool and I'm going to add an anchor point right here. And then back to my direct selection tool and move it down. Because you want these nice little gaps between your letters. And you can kind of do this in multiple spots if you want to kind of change up your letters. Okay, you can kind of fill in spots, move things around a little bit. Go back to my selection tool. I want to shrink this a little bit. There we go. Direct selection. So there's a number of different ways you can do this. Okay, so see my outline has this nice curve. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add an anchor point to my H. And drag it out over here. Drag this one over here. So you can really make your text fit into whatever outline you have. So same with the E, I'm going to bring it up a little, make sure it's not touching. And then I'm just going to kind of start playing with the curves. Remember Control Z to undo if you've gone a little too far, if you accidentally moved your letter. So once you have adjusted all your letters and you have them fitting in your cheetah or your animal or whatever you picked, so I had done this one here, then the next step I'm going to show you. Okay, so there's my letters all fit into my cheetah. Now obviously I have this tail, the feet, okay, and the head. If I don't have those, you can't really tell that this is a cheetah. So it is really important that we have the head, the feet, okay, the tails, any of those things that are extra. So what you can do, sorry, this is bothering me. So what you can do for the feet and the head and the tail to still have them is really simple. You have this beautiful outline that the program drew for you. So I want to keep the outline of the head and the feet and stuff. I don't want to have to redraw them. So we're going to work smarter. And basically we're going to delete all the parts we don't need and keep the parts we do need. So how you do this is make sure you're not selected on your outline. Then the area you want to delete, come over here and click there just once, and then click the backspace button. See how it deleted that one section? So now I'm going to deselect everything, come in here, delete that one. Sometimes you'll get these little points left behind. Make sure you delete those. You always have to unselect everything and then select the next section. Because if you don't, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to delete this, it's going to delete too much. So just be careful. Select one little area at a time. It could be a little picky. So got the head there. We need to delete this section. And then right in here, there's a tiny little section. I want to delete that because I want to break apart the legs there. Let's see, make sure you get those points. So just deleting those points. And those sections, oops, see, too much. Control Z, undo. Okay. Oops, Control Z. once you have deleted everything that you need to delete and you just have the small sections left, there's two ways to do this. You can select, all right, so we got our cheetah head here. You can select the first point, hold down Shift, select the second point, right click, and go join. And then this will actually, oops, actually join the two lines. Or another way to do it is go in and take the pen tool and select on the end and select on the end. And then make sure you push enter when you're done so you don't select more than one. So select there, enter, select, enter, select. Now this one I'm going to curve, enter. I did notice that this guy right here, a little off, so I'm going to use the anchor point tool and I'm going to create this nice curve. I can even bring, oops, this point oh, they did not connect. So I'm going to bring these points down, hold down Shift and right click and join them together. And then once you have everything outlined, using your selection tool, select each shape and then come up here and fill. If you already have a black outline with no fill, you can simply click the little arrows here and it will fill it, and now you have your cheetah. So obviously you can't copy my cheetah, but you are going to have to find your own animal or person or object or place on the class website. I have put about a dozen different examples of ones that have already been created. You cannot copy them. You can still do the same animal, like I said, but you can't copy them. You will have to dramatically change them or just pick a different animal. There are millions of animals for you to choose from. You can even do like different insects and stuff. There's an example of a snail on there, which is pretty cool. So go ahead and take a look at the examples that I have posted and come up with your idea and go ahead and start creating your own. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.